Hello there, Sarah from 17 once again. This is my Evil Within 2, Nightmare difficulty, no upgrades, no keys, and no damage. This is Chapter 11, it's called Reconnecting. We're unlocking the Freeze Bolt. That might be your first Freeze Bolt. Really, really good tool, very, very powerful, very, very useful, but you need to be aware that if you fire it too close to yourself, it will injure you, and the amount of times I've been damaged by freeze bolts is more times than probably any enemy in the game, which just goes to show how annoying it can be to get yourself in a choke point and use this escape card, this get out of jail free card, and then for it to backfire on you, which is kind of annoying, but it's part of the game. The second thing you need to know as well about the freeze bolt is that it isn't instant. You don't fire it and things don't freeze. It has to stick first, and then it has to beep, and then it detonates. So don't be thinking you can just fire it immediately and get instant, reproach from violence. The only ones that you can get that from are the electric ones. The electric ones are the ones that seem to be much more instant than everything else. Then you have the smokes that have delay, then you have the frost that has delay. But they're all pretty good at doing the same thing. And I can pretty much confirm that the only real part of the game that you need those tools is things that we've already done. Like, you want to have all of those tools I just mentioned for the firewalk, but aside from that, you don't really need them, because you'll have the damage, just the convenience of having them. So I think I was a little bit too stringent on my use of the crossbow bolts on this walkthrough. I could have used them way more, but I was always tentative with it because I felt like the next encounter could be more important to have them. And then I did all the encounters without needing them, and it really does beg the question why I wasn't using them more. So my advice to you is, if you're confident in your ability to play this game, use those weapons, use those tools, they're there to be used. I ended up beating the game with a full stock of freeze arrows, a full stock of smoke arrows, and a full stock of shock arrows. And they would have helped if I'd needed them. It's just when you get to the end, you don't need them because they don't really help. They help against the spiders, but I'm just going to be mashing Q against the spiders anyway and stepping on them. And it's not a good strategy, but it's an easy strategy. And I figured if I can kill all the spiders without being touched, the last boss is never going to hit me because it's got the pattern of a toddler. So, open the Mobius crate, pick up the stuff, check out the mattress. I think that's 2 mattresses. If that's a single mattress, that's amazing. Very, very deep. It's probably very comfortable. Don't be saying Mobius skimped on the mattress comfort. And now we're going to be pushing forward through the Marrow into a boss fight. And the boss fight coming up is an interesting one, because on my first run through the game, I absolutely destroyed him with execution moves by using smokes. But I can't do that on this because, of course, they're not upgraded, so I don't have the ability to do that. But you can still stealth assassinate him. And on Nightmare, he takes 3 stabs in each phase to die, I think. He might take 1 more, but for the most, I think it's about 3 stabs each phase and you'll win. So in theory, you can stealth this next boss, make him lose you, and then stab him in the back. Do that 6 times and you'll win. I didn't want to do that though, guys, because I wanted to see how much damage this guy can take without upgrades, because I figured it'd probably be the route that a lot of people went. There's a ton of opportunities to freeze him. I'm not entirely certain if freezing him adds any kind of damage modifier, so I don't know if it's worth doing it, but I'm just going to be shooting him with guns and getting rid of him the old-fashioned way. But it must be said, folks, I'm going to use every single piece of ammo I have on this boss, and it's just going to be enough. So I compel you to stealth this boss. It's easier to do it. It's more effective and it's more efficient. But this was a challenge to myself, and I wanted to see if it could be done, and it can be done. It's just a little bit frustrating. And hopefully it'll be more interesting to watch than just sneaking around and stabbing him. But I can't argue with the whole idea of using the executions, because if the stealth attacks are half as effective as the smoke attacks are, which are intrinsically the same thing, right? I imagine that's just going to be the best way of doing it. Run away from him, get him to lose you, hide behind the desks, walk around the desks like it's Jurassic Park and there's the raptors in the kitchen, and then stick him in the back, run away, repeat ad nauseum. It's going to be kind of annoying, it's going to be kind of tricky, but it's definitely going to save you bullets. And this is kind of the game when that's the main thing. But I was looking in the menu, there doesn't seem to be a chapter select. I would love to go back to chapter select, go back here, and get footage of me killing him by using stealth executions, because that's something that could be quite nice to show you the alternative. Because I was going to show you the Obscura fight where I got her stuck. I think I'm going to upload that secondary, like after the walkthrough, because that's just weird. But it doesn't really help, because it's so hard to do. The only people that I think are going to benefit from that are the people that are looking to break the game, looking to really sequence break it and take advantage of everything they can. But we're now in the labs. This is an area that I thought was really tricky at first. I had a tough time here on my first run through, because I didn't realise that there was a path around the right that avoids both the witch and the smelly woman, and then you can just get to the door and get through it. I really overthought this entire sequence. And for some reason, when this is happening, I can't walk down here. I don't know why that is. Kind of strange. The door to the left there leads down into an area where they're dumping bodies, and it will trigger one of those ghost moments. For me personally, that was the final ghost moment that I needed to trigger Sebastian to get his rifle back, and for him to conquer his demons and get rid of it. But I've not bumped into the ghost at all really in this playthrough, except for that one time in the business district. So for me it wouldn't have been enough, and I was intentionally ignoring them because I want to give you a fast path through the game. Admittedly, we would have had 3 pistols, and the more pistols you have, the more useful you can be with the pistol, and it would have been an extra 6 bullets that you could use if you needed it, and it would have been 6 bullets that are the most powerful handgun bullets you can use. But that being said, it's not essential, so that's why I omitted it. But we're going to stab this lady, because we're not very nice people. But then again, she's not very nice either, so I suppose evil meets evil in The Evil Within 2. And then we're going to walk up the stairs. So I experimented with some pathing up these stairs, because you're going to see this area a lot if you don't do this section very well. And there's some interesting stuff that I noticed. I noticed that you can sprint a lot of the way on this balcony without getting anybody's attention, but there are certain areas where you definitely don't want to, because they will be alerted from it. And understanding where you can run and where you can't run is going to streamline a lot of your mobility through the game, and it's just going to make it more effective and more fluid. I was playing this last night on Xbox One after PC, and I must say it was a really miserable experience, because it's hard to go back, guys. It's really hard to go back from the game running so well to the game really not running very well at all. And the one thing that I noticed, because I was doing New Game Plus Nightmare with the Knuckle Duster, and I'm very disappointed with the Knuckle Duster because the melee has massive recovery, which is really frustrating. And I'm playing it, and I'm noticing just how much of the game you can't skip. And it makes me really sad, because when I do my classic run, I think I'm going to get to chapter 5 before I save, and there's always the opportunity that I might die, you know? It happens in these games. It's very easy for that shit to happen. I'm not going to do any side quests in chapter 3, I'm going to go straight for the objectives, and I'm going to see whether or not I need the gunpowder to get rid of the enemies that I'm going to have to face. And when I'm doing this, when I'm doing kind of like messing around in New Game Plus and trying to go quick, trying to go fast, trying to plan a route, I'm just noticing all these conversations that it doesn't give me the option to skip, and I'm stood there holding B, I'm like, why won't it skip, why won't it skip? And then it dawned on me, the game is still loading on Xbox One, that's why it won't skip. On PC, the moment a cutscene begins, you can skip it immediately, because of course PC loads instantly. But on console, you've got to wait for the machine to fucking load. So I'm sat there watching this dialogue, and I'm just thinking to myself, I don't think I want to do this. I don't think I want to do classic mode, because if I fuck up, I have to deal with this boring bullshit all the time, and it's really miserable. And I probably won't, but the key to this strategy here, this puzzle, if you look at the x-rays, there's numbers on the x-rays, and over there's a number on his head, and there's the code that you have to put in. I don't know if the codes change, but I just used the same code that I did on the first time through, and it worked. I kind of got lucky, so this was my code, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's your code. I don't know if the codes are dynamic. They might be, they might not be. I don't know. But once you've drilled into the person's brain, we need to pick up the chip, and then the section coming up now is the tricky part, which is a stealth section. But it was really nice to see when I was watching the Digital Foundry just released a video talking about PC performance and Xbox One performance. And it's exactly as I feared from what I noticed, but it was good to see that the frame rate problems that I was having where I couldn't get the game to hit 144 frames was nothing to do with my machine. It was everything to do with the game. So that really makes me happy, because I'm new to this PC stuff, and I always just automatically assume that it's me that's having the problem and that it's something to do on my end. So for them to kind of validate and say that the port just doesn't like running at 60 frames per second feels pretty good. By the way, guys, if you hide behind that thing on the left and you wait for him to come out, you can move immediately and stab him in the throat and you'll not waste a bottle. I've got a few bottles, so it's not the end of the world, but you don't have to do that. This is me being incredibly impatient right now, because I actually reloaded the save to get more ammunition for the boss, because my ammunition wasn't enough, and I ended up having to go from this checkpoint rather than from being close to the boss, and it wasn't very fun. But don't do this, guys. Execute the first guy stealth, and that guy will never be seen, and you'll never have to do that. It's just a waste of time, but if you can get good at it, you can make those situations work for you, which is the best thing about learning the bottle technique. And I say learning it, there's no learning it sometimes. You throw it at their face, they fucking move, and you get put in a bad situation, and you feel like you got robbed. And you probably did. But walk through here with the witch. We're going to wait for the witch to start her path back the other way, and then we're going to move to the left here. So I'm using my headset to hear exactly what she's doing. I can tell that she's nowhere near me on this corner, and I'm just going to move this way, and I'm going to throw a bottle over there. I'm going to pick up that bottle, or I didn't pick it up, interesting. And then I'm going to walk over to this, and the door's automatically going to see me. So they walk that way. I'm going to sit here, just waiting, and then if anybody decides to try and turn this way, I'm going to throw another bottle to make sure they all look that way, and then you can get through that room without incident. That is about as good as it gets. Minus the beginning part where I stabbed those people with the bottles because I've messed up a ton. That's as good as it gets. And then here is the boss fight, folks. So, a little rundown on exactly how this fight works. The longer it goes, the more the fire spreads. And if you touch the fire, or even if you don't touch the fire but you're close to it, you can take residual damage. I got residually damaged a few times, very annoying. I also got damaged by explosions from my own crossbow bolts a couple times, which is very annoying too. But the boss is kind of simple. You shoot him in the head, or you stealth stab him, and that's pretty much all we're going to do. And the strategy is, I'm going to move away from him, and I'm going to try and bait his projectile. This boss has a few moves. He has an up-close flamethrower flail. He has a projectile that takes quite a transition to do, and then afterwards he has quite a lot of recovery. And then when you're close to him, he has a lunging stab with the end of his nozzle, and that's a grab that instantly kills you. And he also has a really quick side swipe, which will kill you too. And depending on what he does at the beginning here, depends on how you punish it. If he does the projectile here, run to like 1 o'clock on the clock face facing him, and shoot him in the head twice with the shotgun. I got the flame just spray everywhere, so instead I'm going to punish him by hitting him with a bunch of explosive bolts. So every time you hit him with a bolt, it's going to stun him. So you don't have to worry about him running towards you, because you can't take these. So hit him with every single bolt that you have, if you're going to do it with guns. And bear in mind, folks, this guy takes a lot of damage. So that's every bolt I've got. All fired on his torso, close to his face, doing as much damage as I can. Maybe headshots would be better there, but I didn't test that. And then I'm going to put the rifle on, and I'm going to start shooting him in the head. So we're waiting for him to do the projectile. There it is. Move behind the cover, wait for it to explode, and then shoot him in the face. And then we're going to do this, and we're going to hopefully he's going to keep... There it is again, projectile. Dodge, come back out, shoot him in the face. And then when he starts to get too close, we're going to back up, and we're going to get back into a similar situation where we can bait the projectile, and we can shoot him again. So right now, I put the crossbow on. I've got freeze bolts, I've got smoke bolts, I've got harpoons, I've got a lot of good stuff. I'm going to stun him with a smoke, and then I'm going to put my pistol on probably and shoot him in the head. Or I might even put the rifle on, it seems like. So, now he's going to stand still, and then he's going to swipe, and then he's going to stand still, then he's going to swipe. I'm almost certain I just missed that shot, which is disappointed. That is the first stagger threshold. So right now, he's going to be down on his knees. So I shoot him a few times with the terrible shotgun. Don't use the shotgun, use the other shotgun. And this is the transition into the second and final phase. So right now, the only real thing that changes is the environment has a bit more fire in it. And I believe he might be a little bit faster, but I couldn't really say. He feels the same to me, but there'll be some added advantage that he's going to get. So I hit him with a stun bolt, put the shotgun on, headshot shotgun, headshot shotgun, headshot shotgun, stun bolt on again, repeat ad nauseum. And there's a little trick with the crossbow that I might not have mentioned. If you swap bolts inside of the radial menu, you will instantly reload, and it will cancel all reload animations. You'll not have to put a new bolt in. So you can swap to one bolt, and then swap back to the bolt you want to reload, and it'll reload it for you without you having to do an animation. Really effective, really useful. So there's a harpoon in his face. There's a smoker to stun him again. Here's me reloading a shotgun. There's me shooting the shotgun at him. Probably missing, because this shotgun is fucking worthless. Don't use it. And now he's chasing me. So right now I have to be super careful, because if I go too close to the fire, it's going to damage me, and it's a failed run, which is really frustrating. There's a shock. There's a sniper round. Here's me reloading the sniper. I don't want to do it though, so I'm going to immediately go back to my crossbow. I'm going to hit him with another stun. I don't have a round in my crossbow, which was sloppy. So there is the electricity. Here's me putting the other sawn off on that has the proper damage. Use this gun. It's way better. By far, in every conceivable way, it just performs better. Trust me, guys. I love it so much. But do you see how much damage this guy's taking? He takes a lot. And this room is where I've been damaged the most by hitting the fire, so be careful, because the fire hitbox is kind of bullshit. But pop a different bolt on. There's the harpoon. Hit him in the face with it, if you can. There's a face shot with a harpoon. Some of the most damage I can physically do. I've got 3 bullets left of the sniper rifle. I'm going to hopefully use it in his face. He's recovering from the stun, so here I am going to be using another shock bolt. Shock bolt to the feet. Sniper on. Shoot him in the face with a sniper rifle. There's 1 shot. There's 2 shots. Oh, by the way, guys, do not throw a bottle at him in this phase. I thought he doesn't have a helmet. If I throw a bottle at him, it'll hit him in the face. We'll get the animation. I'll stab him in the gut. It didn't work, and he killed me. I was very disappointed with that. Very, very disappointed. I was crazy enough to try it. I should have been rewarded, but the game was like, nope, fuck you. But here's a couple more shotgun shells in his back. And now we're in a bit of bother because there's a lot of fire and he's getting quite close and we're running out of tools to shoot him with. So I'm contemplating creating more things. But I wanted to do it without creating any ammo. I wanted to do it with what I had. So I'm going to go over to this part of the room. In this part of the room, the projectile can be quite dangerous. So if he fires a projectile, make sure you put some decent distance and something between you and him. I don't know why I did that. That was a bad choice from me. But luckily enough, I believe these pistol shots kill him. But do you see what I mean? I kind of feel like he shouldn't take that kind of damage. He took almost every single thing I had then. And I was hitting him in the face. I hit him with over 5 explosive bolts. I used, what, 9 shotgun shells, 3 in the chamber. I used like 15 shotgun shells. I used a dozen rifle bullets. I used harpoons to his face. It's kind of nuts, right? Doing that with bullets seems crazy. But run around the room, get back all the stuff that you've spent, hopefully. And you probably didn't spend any because you were using all the stealth executions and what have you. One thing I will say here, guys, is I don't know if there's some like validity to shooting his tank. Maybe you can make the tank explode and it's better to attack the tank than it is to attack the man. I've never tried it, so I don't know. Additionally, maybe if you freeze him with every one of the freeze containers and you shoot him just with a pistol bullet, maybe once you do all the freeze containers, he dies just because that's the gimmick of the fight. Like, imagine if you freeze him with the tank and then you turn the sprinklers on and it just shatters him instantly and it's a 1 cycle. That'd be beautiful, but I just don't know enough, guys. Hopefully this is the stuff that'll come out later on once the speedrunners start destroying the game and understanding how it works. But at the moment, I think a lot of the strategies that I've seen have been people just shotgunning this guy in the face. And you saw how effective that was in this run, so I'll let you be the judge for yourself. But he's dead. I did my challenge. I'm happy with it. We'll improve. We'll continue to evolve. We'll see what else is possible. And all that's left to do now, guys, is to save and get ready for Chapter 13, which is probably the hardest chapter in the game because of the fire walk. And if you've done it, you know exactly what I mean. But until then, there is quite a lot of crafting to be done because we wasted a ton of shit. But it looks like I'm not going to be doing any of that. So I back out. I come over here. There's some gunpowder to replenish what we've used. And hopefully we'll be able to get back up on our feet in no time at all. The sawn-off looks really good in this game as well, the double-barrel sawn-off. Because it's 2 shells at the same time and then a reload, which means if you only get 1 opportunity to fire, it's going to be very powerful for those damage windows. The problem is you've got to get Jacob out of that area alive, and doing that on Nightmare with low ammunition and you know, not wanting to take any damage can be a bit of a tall ask. So I'm definitely going to be looking into strategies for that to see what I can do with it, but as it stands, You know, I can get you through the game, I can help you beat the scenarios, and hopefully you'll have success with classic mode if you try it. Because I just don't understand who likes that shit, me. I'm so annoyed that the hardest difficulty is another fucking cop-out. It really bugs me, that. But thank you for watching, and you take care now.